we good with putting in the everybody has that option up?
So again, looking for
Hit the student, and then the pin is this.
okay.
O as in Oscar, A as in Apple, H as in Henry, thank you. I as in Igloo, K as in Kevin. One more time. O, A, H, I, K. One more time. Yep. O, A, H, I, K. So while you're getting that pin in, just to give you an idea of what AirPod is, it's a way to run a presentation if you're working with students. So you control it on your laptop, and they're going to see exactly what you have on your laptop. However, you run through the slides. It can be interactive, which you'll see as we progress through. But for the most part, you as the teacher are controlling the pace of the lesson for the presentation. It is, to a certain extent. Some of the things that you're going to see today, to be able to embed videos and websites, there is a paid version of it. But if you want just the basic, it is free. So if you could just give me a thumbs up if you're in, that would be great. And thumbs up will bring it. Isn't that funny? Just we're going to cross our fingers that technology gods are with us. We brought back up. Okay. I'm not sure we want to take her.
Just download this.
If you're tired of waiting, you can share too. If you see somebody.
I don't think there's a place for that over
Jamie Hayes assured me last night that this would work, that the Wi-Fi was strong enough to support all of these shows. And I'm Jamie. That's all right. I heard it.
When I was using Mike and Johnson and Carly did sometimes one of those is good because they got a couple of nuggets I wanted to reiterate for mine, but I'm going to come again.
While your presentations are downloading, I'm just going to go ahead and let you know the principles that we will be presenting on today. I'm Laura Barnes, Danielle is to my right, and Christine to my left. And we are working on pioneering instructional strategies to engage students in rigorous and authentic learning and prepare them to successfully compete globally. What a mouthful.
It's good, 50% right now. Give me an error. And then we can start it again.
Once your presentation downloads, there should be an option to type in your name. You will find yourself trying to scroll through. Because you're used to being able to control yourself.
You can't
You
control it.
can't until I give you that option.
That's awesome.
So when you have those Ginger Beaver students in your class that like your fly head,
Want to do that in this
Not yet, she has to.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're all ready to go. So the first screen that you're going to see is our topic, which I've already given to you. So we're going to go to that next spot in which you can go ahead and type in your name. Once you type in your name, you can submit. And just to give you an idea as a teacher, as you type in, I'm coming up on my teacher screen. Okay, so in order to pioneer instructional strategies that are going to prepare students to teach locally, we think that there needs to be a paradigm in the way that we teach in Washington County. And we are proposing that teachers begin teaching with a gaming mentality. And when I say gaming mentality, I literally mean gamers. Those people that play video games, sometimes who are living with people like, because they have certain characteristics that we think are important for the 21st century. And when you're first screen there, you're going to see those characteristics. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it means in the educational world as to think like a gamer. So the first one is persistence. Gamers understand that mastery comes from time and devotion. First failed attempts are okay as long as you try again with determination. Gamers are goal-oriented. They understand the objective and they measure progress over time. So as I'm saying these things, if you've had any experience with video games, you have your own children or things like that, you've seen things on TV about them, I want you to think about those people as they're playing those games. They have historical perspective. They review what has worked in the past, they review what didn't work in the past, and they build on tomorrow's plans for success. They have awareness. They're aware of their surroundings, they're on the lookout for things to make the experience more rewarding, and they pride themselves in discovering things that other gamers overlook. Again, be thinking about how does this apply to a classroom setting. Gamers are communicative and sharing. They have a spirit that they know that, and they understand the value of leadership, and they strive to share what they know with others. That especially comes into play when you have online games. They have a love for experimentation. They like the freedom to choose how to accomplish a goal, and they have a willingness to experiment with tools and situations. They don't always do the same thing every time. They have an art of anticipation. They play on two levels. They address the issues at hand, and they also consider what's coming next, what's down the road. A few more characteristics. They know the cost of a lone wolf. In other words, a player that has no allegiance or plays purely for their own game, they are considered a lone wolf. True gamers know that if you are in conjunction with that lone wolf in the long run, it's not going to help you, because in the end they are only out for themselves. So therefore, they're looking for those players that are going to be collaborative. Task orientation. Gamers celebrate many wins on their roads to success, and they always keep that ultimate goal in mind, but they do celebrate those wins on the way. Lastly, they have an appreciation of value of content. No longer can you just work hard and master something. because things are continually changing, and that is the fun of it. So once you've mastered that thing, it's going to change, you're going to have to learn another way. So, okay, so a little bit about gaming mentality. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Christine.
And it was interesting because as you look at some of these ideas, if you think of, I'm going to quiz everybody for saying common core state standards, word perseverance. Anybody recall where you see that in the common core? Math practices, exactly. So it's amazing how all of this gaming mentality, what I'm going to talk about authentic learning, is blending into everything we're kind of doing right now. You'll see some connections with the authentic learning piece that I'm going to present. So I think on the next slide, you are going, to enter, can you just brainstorm for 60 seconds, either individually or with somebody, about when I say authentic learning, which is a piece of our idea, what comes to mind? What's the first thing that you think of when you hear authentic learning? Definition or kind of go around the room, if anybody wants to share what they thought of. Some of you will be amazed at how many connections they're going to see to our next meeting. Authentic learning? I'm sorry, what? Meaningful to me. All right. Anybody else want to share a little bit?
Engage, real world, choice, voice, collaborative, reality based.
And just as a side note for teaching tools, Laura had to share out, so that's why you're seeing all the conversations that are going on that I saying too.
What I'm going to do is briefly go through the 10 characteristics of authentic learning, how it applies to some of the things we're doing right now, how we take some of these projects, which that can also be created. Yep. The first one, what Jocelyn said, real world context. Let's see that present come on as well.
Progress through this practice is just tap right side of the screen. Practice is just a PowerPoint on steroids.
Number one, real world, and practice. Yeah, but that, yep. Starts with what Jocelyn said, real world approach. Because the context, almost the setting, as in setting a story, reflect what they would do in the real world. Okay? And even are students able to be mobile, moving throughout the room, moving throughout the area, do what they need to do at certain stages. And good number two, this gets into the activities, what they're actually doing. So number one is more setting based and context. Number two, you see it is the activities and tasks. Will they mirror what's going on in the real world? Are they going to be very brief, or it's going to be over a long period of time? Divided into steps. And can you get a variety of inputs? Now, if you look at and think about Common Core, PARC assessments, this should all be starting to train all the same practices, like authentic learning, and even teaching game mentality. Brief, access to expert performances. Are there experts in acting? Exactly in our new evaluation system, the framework for teaching, you go into how many guest speakers. And the language is almost identical to that. And they learn from others, groups or mentors. And that second one is the one I like best because you have students teaching one another. We've said for how many years that someone tries to teach another person, especially our students, and still learn. That's where the name is. Trying to read. Number 4, multiple roles and perspectives, very similar to number 3. They're able to hear stories, see experts in the area, hear it, and with our technology piece that we'll show you, they'll be able to have access. Experts. Number 5 talks about the opportunity to collaborate. We thought when we first started our activity, we were going to think about some of the things we'd already talked about. And learning better strategies. So school design, our collaborative stations, kind of mimic some of the same things we had seen in group number 1. Are they going to be able to do that? Absolutely. The next one talks about number 6 is opportunity to reflect. And you'll see some pictures from Cascade Elementary where we talk about reflection areas. And the one piece I liked in this was to reflect and go back to it later, maybe tomorrow or the next day. Well, that's what I do. I drive the car and I stop and I post it. I wrote down what I did the day before with my team, and then I'll share that with them. So can you reflect later? And that's why also a series of steps and a long-term activity is what we want students to be working on. Number 7. The only thing I could think of when I was doing this one was the Common Core State Standards for teaching. This is what this is all about. And I verbalized. And you said we're K-12. So the younger child, and they stay on topic, and they take turns, and they focus on what they're speaking about. For the older student, do they know how to re-summarize? Do they know how to cite evidence and verbalize that? Number 6, I just wanted to go back for a second. Number 6 on the, where it says you have different points of view, including not just one limited textbook. That's another item that is very more about frameworks. Number 8 is tests are seemingly integrated with assessment. I'm starting to think of parts. Start to go through that process for a year and assess. And they also work freely in this time period. Number 9 is to create cause problems. This is what we're looking for. And then number 10 also gets into writing, coaching, and scaffolding. Well, this is something we've been saying for a long time. That is not a new concept. But again, it also mentions students, coaching, and is the teacher available to guide them? Again, how many years have they been with the guy on the side? The directions for looking at that and working with that for a long time. So what I would like to do, if you have any questions about that for me right now, as far as the concept, I don't want to take too much time reading to you. But what is amazing is one of the Common Core, even our own frameworks right now, what's coming for park assessments, the game mentality, it's all seems to be on the same playing field, which is great. So we're all speaking the same language. Next, there is a video clip of a student and a parent of another family, so different family. It's talking about their best way to learn.
So as a dance slide, whenever it catches up, you're going to see that there are headphones available for sharing and recording. And you can X out of the present. You X out of the present. You might have to hit the belly button of the iPad to get it back. And then hit your phone again. Kyle, tell me. Kyle, tell me. What is the best way that your teacher can while you guys they're kind of at different places, but while we did the videos, is we just wanted to get a student's perspective and a parent's perspective from within the county and the way the student learns best and the way the parent would like their child to learn best. We have a few videos and Laura's going to progress through them, but it's basically two different perspectives of, and then we're going to present how we feel about it, kind of leading up to some reasons why.
I'm going to move to the second video. These are just short snippets, like 15 seconds each.
How do you like to find out information here?
So
That's fine, you're not disturbing other people.
How do you like to find out?
I'm going to go ahead and move to the third video. There are 4. So, 3 files and 1 here in the end. Last video. I'm going to move into the actual plan of implementation. Ultimately, we thought it was really important to think about. We've already learned a lot about authentic learning and why that's important. We know that key to how students learn. So we just wanted to introduce the student and the parent perspective, just because we don't want to present things to people just to do. We want it to be authentic learning, but also, we want the expectation that students learn the way that this is appropriate to them. So, immediately upon interviewing that student, it was working in groups, having hands-on, working with technology, all the things that they're, so it's just a current sense of support. So our plan, your slide now is a picture of Cascade Elementary School. We have a realistic implementation plan that can happen right now. So we feel like this would be a game changer within Washington County Public Schools, mostly because it's something new, and we're proposing implementing it right in Cascade. So Cascade Elementary has a lot of open space. So they're in this particular picture that you guys see in your pod now, this space shown is not currently being utilized. It has great potential based on everything we've already talked about authentic learning. So there's wide hallways accessible for students with disabilities as well as other learning spaces. There's a lot of natural light, as you can see in this slide, high ceilings. Our facilities department within Washington County just recently replaced all the windows here. So this is an ideal breakout space within Cascade Elementary School that we can implement some of this authentic learning. This one's pretty much self-explanatory. A wide open room provides for multiple projection screens, lots of student work to be displayed throughout the room.
This is something that we've learned a lot about through this NEEL program, the importance of promoting different perspectives. So even within Cascade, there's this balcony area that would serve as a reflection area, lots of natural light, like we talked about before, but promotes a completely different perspective on learning. This area is space that's currently used that, the introduction of our plan would be to start here, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit as far as what what the budget is. So this is the actual space capacity that can be implemented immediately. This is a STEM room, provides space for groups, small groups to experiment, work face to face, technological tools could be used there. This would be the realistic part for now. A lot of the other pictures, obviously, we can't do within the budget of $10,000. So this would be the place to start. These are some pictures. This is already a vendor within Washington County. These are some of the things that have already been purchased within our county. So these are some of the floor plans that could easily be implemented in the STEM room where the initial implementation would take place. So basically, tying back to the gaming mentality, this is the reason why we prepare our students. So we're proposing to start with the STEM room, to have the technology, to have teachers available, to have professional development centered, so that we can prepare students and have a unique style of learning and testing because the physical features are already there. So these are some of the important reasons why we want to create this learning environment. Gaming mentality is the way that a lot of students think. These are some of the jobs that we found in our research that don't even exist yet. They're just kind of stressing the importance. Social media strategists, that would be like recruiting, marketing, advertising for social media. User experience specialists, basically improving the usability, the design of web applications, mobile applications. Telework manager, managing all these telework programs companies are going to those sort of programs. Personality programmer, basically kind of like stories, but like different perspectives. So these are things that students are going to have these jobs, and we need to prepare them for these jobs. Sustainability manager, recycling all the way up to carbon footprint issues, green manufacturing, a lot more advanced than they are now. And even lawyers specializing in personal property issues. Things like World of Warcraft. People are accumulating real money. And property worth real money, so that's a job I never thought of until we started looking into this. Urban farming, gardens, cities, and the tops of buildings, students need to be prepared for these sort of things. Remote drone pilots, basically techno warriors, garbage miners, mining landfills for energy and profit, and then any future currency, like speculator to try to figure out how that's going to work. So, ultimately, we're just trying to explain the reasons why we need to start somewhere and have some sort of area that focuses on futuristic thinking.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and conclude by kind of tying it all together for you. We feel like our plan is realistic and readily implemented because of the space and Cascade that is available, both the part that is in use today as well as that the space that you saw is available for renovation. We have a place to start as well as a place to grow. We're proposing the blend of teaching with using the gaming mentality within a 21st century school design that you saw with some of the furniture. We'll utilize that STEM room as seen right now. Laptops are Cascade has about 60 laptops, 40 iPads that are all utilized could be utilized within that room. And then you're proposing the PE plan to include both visits to model sites that already kind of teach with this gaming mentality within a school setting. And then we also thought it was important for us to do this in a corporate setting. We'd like to get teachers out into the corporate area to see how this works in real life. So part of our budget would be for the PE, part of it would be the purchase of the collaborative design furniture. So if I could direct your attention to our executive summary. Down at the bottom, our plan of implementation. So beginning this month, we would undertake 5 months of professional development for teachers at Cascade, including those visits to the model site, and then organize school-based
planning sessions to explore strategies and reflect on their effectiveness in engaging mentality instruction. Our budget for that would be $3,800, and then the purchase of the collaborative design stations for the current classroom would is broken out there for you using the desk and chairs, the graphic tablets, and the commercial grade computers. I think Danielle mentioned the design that you saw in the slide is actually a vendor that we already are working with here in Washington County. So yes, you have anything to add?
I'm just going to add, as far as the collaboration stations, we looked at some of those at Spring Mills, and we got some ideas. So the budget there is either Washington County current vendors, or some of these companies are starting to work with our purchasing department. Smith Systems seems to be a pioneer in all kinds of collaborative furniture, and we talk about having inspiration in school design, and they have colors galore, and I have a catalog if anybody has an interest in just looking at that or getting that name. They have a huge online catalog. And also, if you're interested in this topic, you might want to consider going over to Western Heights to visit Mr. Nykerk, who's pioneering the virtual high school. That design, setup, technology, business mentality, and they even have their own little collaboration station where they can reflect it. They build virtual high school. That's something to be seen if you're interested. Excuse me. And all you do is call Martin Nykerk, ask him for a little tour, and I'm sure he'll have him take them around, explain what they're doing there, because that is the next step. Is the same ideas are filtering from us through that kind of student program. He will make you an avatar in his thing if you like you did for me.
Yeah, I invite any of you, but the slides, the pictures of the slides don't really do justice that open air part you saw the sun finish. I invite you to come up and tour that section at any time. It was built in the 40s. However, it has been renovated slightly since then. It needs a lot of work, which would be more than our $10,000 budget. That's why we decided to bring it back into the working part of the school first, and then progress to that open area.
This is what we like. Is you can take these ideas and find an area in your school or existing facilities and come up with the same idea. We're doing elementary STEM based, but it's not limited to any of that.
As far as actual implementation, we start with teachers. So let them choose the content area that they're most comfortable with based on professional development, whatever work, the application to the standards or the goals or whatever they lay out, and just kind of start there. Starting with the, with the intention to expand whenever it's
Not a huge part of our budget, as we discussed in this class, but Nancy's technology really won't be too much of, instruction. Understand.
90-second elevator speech. What will your kids and teachers be doing that's different? I understand the gated mentality. I might have. What 90-second elevator speech? What do you see your kids and teachers doing that's different?
Students would be more in charge of their instructional plan. They would be developing the plan and the process of how they reach their goals. Be a major part of it.
And I think teachers have a better understanding of what can be done and what the traditional classroom doesn't look like right now, anymore. We have students moving around, students talking to each other, students moving to different stations. You could do something like your science experiments. I know you can do on the Pasco, I think it is. Students are doing pollution, studying pollution with the plants. Have their station for that, have go on to Pasco and do their information for the science experiment, reflect, come back and reflect. So I think it would, University of Maryland or Michigan professor said, class time is for doing. And I thought, boy, that summarized things really well. Class time is for doing. If you want to talk about using trying to improve his instruction. So I think it's going to be implementing the experiential learner, having that experience, social and mobile learner, teaching them.
Yeah, and I think we started, initially we started to make it different. They physically walk to that classroom, conduct whatever, if it's practicing or even math lesson. They physically walk there with the intention of, okay, we're going to do this everybody, you're gonna work with group, we're gonna display your work, we're gonna try this. That will be the initial step to make it different. I think we're gonna really go to this class and apply our learning in a different way. And hopefully that'll get realizing that it's a positive thing and that's a good way to apply what they're learning in the classroom with their teachers. So maybe guys just physically go into the classroom with the technology right there and the resources right there, and that's the start.
With that setup, if you collaborate outside, in fact, it's part of this group, outside this football, the tools. We go back to gaming mentality. It's not just what's in front of me here. It's collaborating with others from across the globe.
And many kids need to still be taught how to collaborate. And that's not always an automatic thing. And that's the case as well as well. How would you guys do this? I think maybe an issue that just come straight from the teachers. Our staff development, it comes straight from our teachers once they put in the staff development. Have them, we always talk about follow-up for staff development. What do you think worked? What do you think did not work? What can we do better? And we have a big chunk for staff development to make sure what the teachers are seeing is what we're going to achieve. Students and communicate.
Yes, I think part of the PE would be developing checkpoints, progress monitoring along the way. B, are the students more actively engaged? Are they being successful with benchmarks?
Asking us, but walking around, having anyone walk around and ask students why student conversation. Do you have any content in mind?
Well, honestly, it was very general what we've outlined here at the sessions because we feel like it needs to be personalized and developed by teachers, for teachers, basically. So we don't have a specific PE detail. It's not, we don't have a course pre-made or anything.
On purpose, so that teachers can find whatever, wherever they come from. We don't want to say, do that in math and science, whatever, wherever it naturally fits their instruction.
I want to start with something like authentic learning, engagement mentality, because everybody here you automatically is authentic learning. So with that, seeing also in classrooms, they're understanding fresh that.
Perhaps one other, what do you see as the connection between this and the actual teaching? This is strategy, instructional strategy. What do you see as the connection between this and the actual systems?
I think Christine had mentioned earlier the math practices, developing characteristics in students, perseverance, creativity, how to collaborate, how to define exactly.
Speaking and listening, as we know, for all areas, that's not just math and English. So we're talking about science, so just like the technology groups, how do they collaborate, how do they form an opinion, how do they articulate their opinions? Totally embedded.
Right, and just have people have conversations about what's going on in there. Like observing the opportunity to make the discussion deeper, just like, natural and fun.
Thank you.
Eric, we have set up